Earl.
Welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I hope you were waiting on bated breath. We were. Uh, Tonight, as you can see, we're back for your Christmas viewing pleasure. Tonight we have Ron, my co-host, and I have a lovely guest, Mai Hernon, and you guys are going to like her a lot. So far, I love hearing her speak, so that's going to be fun. So I'd like to welcome Mai to the show.
Hey,
Wait a second.
Susan and Mike and Mom. Hello.
There we go.
To do something there you go.
There you go.
How are you?
We did it the same time, both times. That's why
Yeah.
hands up, don't shoot.
I know.
Hey, Tom.
How are you doing, everybody?
We're good. You know, at least we're not in the land of snow and ice.
No, and we're not either actually at the moment. But it was I went out today to do a little bit of shopping and boy, it was cold.
In that part of Kentucky, it does suck.
Yeah, and it's probably going to get a lot colder. I don't know what the forecast is for snow and stuff like that, but whatever will be, Denise. We'll just have to roll with it, won't we?
Yep. And we're just happy as pie to be here in Florida where we don't have to deal with it. But your part of Kentucky, I know pretty well. My mom used to live in Eastern Kentucky. My sister still does. Yeah. So, and we've spent quite a bit of time at different distilleries going across 64 and stuff. And I know you're north of there, but still.
Yeah.
Getting that close to Cincinnati, you guys get some pretty crappy weather.
Yeah, we do. We do in the wintertime, definitely. But as of yet, it's not that bad. You know, it could get worse. Even though I'm here 11 years, I'm kind of still not used to the extremes of, heat and cold. Because we don't have them at home in Ireland. We don't have extremes.
Right.
We don't have extremely hot weather and we don't have extremely cold weather. We have more windy and stormy and wet weather or mild weather. Yeah. So
that's why I bought a raincoat.
Seems like all the time.
So yeah, we bought me a raincoat already, planning for a trip to go to Ireland, and that's kind of why we wanted to talk to you. Yeah. We've heard so many people, friends that I'm really good friends with, like Vanessa Hogel.
Yes.
And Kat, she's loved your tours, and I talked to Rick not that long ago. And so we have all these good people who have nothing but great things to say about you. So we wanted to talk to you and find out more because, like I said, pre-show, that a lot of people's dream is to go to another country. Yeah. And many of us, we have family roots that go back to Ireland, the UK, to Scotland. And mine and his are both, we have some family roots that are Irish. Mm-hmm. So it'd be kind of interesting for us to find out more about those areas. Yeah. And of course, there's also the wonderful distilleries all throughout Ireland, and the one tour is going to have a Bushmills tour. So here I call that our Spirit and Spirits tour.
Brilliant.
We hit every distillery we possibly can in Kentucky that's haunted, and we take their spirit tour, and then we take their spirit.
The spirit tour, yeah.
And then afterwards, Ron goes to the local liquor store and becomes everybody's spirit guide.
Yeah. Brilliant, Ron. Well, I remember I had a tour with a psychic medium from Cincinnati, Victor Peruta, and the group, and I brought them down south, and we went into Jemison in Middleton. It was honestly, it was very, very funny because I wouldn't say these people would be seasoned whiskey drinkers. Let's put it like that. So you go and you do your tour, and it's actually quite interesting to do a tour of a distillery. Yeah. Then you come out and you have the whiskey tasting. And of course, some of the group, me included, I don't drink, so I don't drink whiskey. I never like the stuff. So we'd have our little shots, and we were giving them over to a few of the group, and they were
The heavy drinkers.
they were
Nice.
just throwing it back, and they were having such a good time. And anyhow, you can go and you sign on to this thing on this little laptop on the wall, and you can print out your certificate as being a qualified taster for the Jameson. It's just a nice little, thing to have. But anyhow, I won't name the name. The person went up and they were typing out their name, and they were so happy typing out their name, and they got this beautiful certificate. And when the person looked at it, they realized that they had spelled their surname wrong. They were really full of spirit. It was very funny. It was very funny. And that whole day, they were so happy. You could see the people that had drank the shots were so much happier than the people who hadn't. They were so much more talkative and giddy and everything. It was really very funny to see it.
You can watch people change.
Yeah,
quickly.
I did.
So
it was very funny.
Yeah, we've gone down to Buffalo Trace Distillery. That's one of our favorite ones, and it's almost straight south of you. And it's in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Oh, Frankfort, yeah.
You ever get a chance to go there? All their tours are free. Any of the ones that they do during the day, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they have free ghost tours at night.
Really?
And you get tastings with those as well.
Wow, that would be fun.
It is, really and that's one of my favorite places in Kentucky is Franklin.
You know what I might do? I might put a haunted. What could I call it? Kentucky haunts.
Well, you might as well just call it the Spirit and Spirits tour and just give me credit for it.
Yeah,
but you've got that one. Then you've got Wild Turkey, that's down the road. That's also haunted, and Glens Creek, which is the old Crow Distillery.
Wow.
And that guy is the guy who owns it. He's very nice. I like him a lot, but he's rough.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean.
I like him a lot. I mean,
He'll give you a tour.
I spent one of my birthdays with him. I mean, we were only planning to be there an hour or so, and we ended up being there, 4?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And did you do an investigation or anything?
There's really not much to investigate there, but they did have the old Crow Distillery on Ghost Asylum with the Wraith Chasers.
Yeah.
And then they had it on Destination Fear. They spent the night there.
Yeah.
I told Ron, I said the most dangerous thing there are the wildcats and the bears.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's spirits down there, are there? Okay.
Yeah. The spirits, I don't know if there's any there, but it's purported to be haunted. And I like going there. I just think it's a really neat place. Old distilleries have a feeling about them.
Yeah.
And then you got Castle and Key just down the street. It's the old Taylor Distillery.
Yeah.
And that one looks like a castle. So you would go by it and you would go, oh, this reminds me of Ireland.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the UK. And it's just beautiful. It's got beautiful gardens. And the presidents used to have parties there. President Taylor, his family owned it at one time.
Okay.
So
Taylor.
Yeah. So all this area right there, you could probably hit 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Get the drinking bus and go.
That'd be fun. That would
just
be
have
fun.
to tell everybody you're staying in the hotel here, so you got to pay for a hotel too, because you're not driving home after that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd put on a bus and let them just jump in and out of the bus.
Well, there's been so many times that I've wanted to do more stuff in that area. I just haven't had a chance.
Yeah.
We had children and stuff, so you really couldn't take children on these. Well, you could take children on the tours. We did, but they get bored.
Yeah.
And then you're pissed because the kids are bored.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's not a very good thing to show your kids, hey, I'm taking this drink and now I'm going to go drive the car.
I know exactly. You can't. No.
No,
So,
they want to go back for more pancake and breakfast.
I
oh,
think,
yeah.
yeah, if you're going touring around with children, you have to kind of make it about the kids, really. You know.
Yeah. Our kids loved going to Buffalo Trace, though. I
Yeah.
mean, they love thunder. Thunder's a tree that got struck by lightning that they cut into the shape of
Buffalo.
a buffalo, and
Oh,
it's right
really?
there on. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge tree, and the oldest building in Franklin County is right there on Buffalo Trace's land,
Yeah.
and they've restored it. So,
Yeah.
like I said, it would be a fun thing maybe for you to drive down there for a day trip.
Yeah, I might do that. Yeah, because you know something, it's amazing. I kind of don't go out unless I'm kind of going out doing the tours. I'll have to change that and go and do a bit of experimenting and go and investigate a few of these places. I just came back from Ireland, actually. I had a tour. It was going to be a Chris Fleming tour, but Chris is not, well, you know, he's doing a lot better than he has been. But he contacted me months ago and he wanted to go to Ireland, and he had a group of people who wanted to go. And I put the itinerary together for him. It was based on the program that he had done, Spooked Ireland.
Yeah.
So he wanted to visit most of the places that he had featured on the program. So I put the itinerary together and we went, and I included a few. I like, if I can at all, I include a few secret places. So we included a few really good secret places, and I got a friend of mine. She's the top paranormal investigator in Ireland, Jenny Sullivan. She's with Emerald Isle Paranormal Research, and she came with us for the first couple of days. We went into Ardgillan Castle and we did an investigation in there, and that was quite good. We went to Hell's Fire Club, if you ever heard of it.
Oh yeah,
multiple times. One of Vanessa's favorite places.
yeah.
Yes, we went up there, and yes, that place is definitely very, very active. Not a nice place. You need to have protection around you when you're going up there. And I had dowsing
I
rods.
got a worry there.
Yeah, we were asking questions, and there's this guy, well, a spirit, not a guy, spirit, William, not a nice entity at all. So I'm here with the dowsing rods, you know, and I said to him, "Are you here, William? Where are you?" Zoom, right beside me.
Yeah.
Right beside me. There was a few things that happened. There was a few people that got a few. There were one group of girls were told to F off. Another woman was she heard this girl. I think there was a name mentioned, and please help me, and it was murder and fire, and you know, a few different words came out, and Jenny could confirm that there was definitely a story about a woman. I think her name was Charlotte, but I could be wrong, who was put into a barrel. You see, this place was really not a nice place. They used to do sacrifices and everything. And it was one of these Freemason lodges, you know. And this woman was supposed to be put into a barrel, set alight, and the barrel was supposed to be rolled down the hill. So that kind of wouldn't make sense to what she was hearing. So there was a lot of activity there. We went to Charleville Castle. There was a lot of activity there. That's a very, very active place. We went to Leap Castle, which is one of the most haunted places. It was quiet enough, but we were in the bloody chapel, and I got this horrendous smell of rotten meat. It was horrendous. Somebody else got the same smell, but somebody else got a very, very bad smell of sulfur up in the bloody chapel. And funny enough, one of the women that was there that day, she sent me an article afterwards, and it talked about the elemental that was there. And sometimes, if it's around, you get the smell of bad meat or sulfur. So we probably weren't in such nice company when we were up in the bloody chapel. But Sean Ryan, the owner of it, he was, he's great at telling stories and telling us about the history of the place and all the stuff that happened around the place. I mean, there was some awful stuff that happened, and they had a murder hole. I think they call it an oubliette
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that word?
I think they call it oubliette.
Yeah, oubliette. Well, that was excavated about 20-25 years ago, and they took out 3 full carts of bones. And now that could be what I was smelling. I don't know, but it was horrendous, the smell.
I mean, it took them that long to do that, because I mean, I know people have been living there a long time.
Well, people have, yeah. Now when it was, I don't know. It's not so very, very long ago that there was that excavation. Within 30 to 50 years, I'd imagine. But they found 3 carts of bones came out of that murder hole. And all the castles, nearly all the castles had murder holes. Nearly all of them. Because it was, that was the way they disposed of their enemies.
Yeah.
Or they killed them. There'd be a chute, and you'd fall down onto these wooden spikes. And either you got killed instantly or you died a very slow death.
There's something to be said about dying quickly.
Back
in those days.
There's a lot to be said about it.
Well, I mean, then you add in the rats and the bugs and all the other stuff. I mean, it was just all out gruesome.
Oh,
so I'd like to say hi to everybody who's in the chat. Susan and Mike and
Mom,
and
Gary,
Rick and Tom.
Rick, Tom, yeah.
And Tom asks, have you
Kilfinnan
seen the
Kilfinnan? I don't know where that is. I've never heard of that castle.
Okay.
McNicholas.
It's owned by McNicholas.
Yeah.
I wonder, is it up the north? Because that name sounds like a northern name. So it'll be interesting. If Tom, if you know where it was or where it is, it'll be interesting for me. We went to Kinnitty Castle as well, which is beautiful. It's an actual working hotel. But Connor gave us a tour around it, and there's a stone circle at the back of it. And he brought us into the woods, and he brought us to this beautiful bridge, Roach Castle. I wonder, is that the castle we were at in Castletown, Roach? It's called Blackwater Castle.
So Roach Castle would be related to my family.
Would they? Because the castle that we were in was owned by the Roaches. And it's in Castletown, Roach. It's called Blackwater Castle. We had the whole castle to ourselves for 3 nights. It was fantastic. Very, very haunted. A lot of the group experienced a lot of activity there.
Hey, Crystal, do you know if that's related to our family?
Probably.
So, yeah, my grandmother is a Roach. And Crystal's my cousin, and we're still trying to figure out our whole family thing.
Yeah.
So, and yes, she says.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, Crystal, if you're listening to us, I wonder, is Roach Castle actually the Blackwater Castle?
Well, Jenny says...
Jenny is saying Roach Castle is in Louth. Okay, so it's not the same castle. Hi, Jenny. I was talking to Jenny for ages last night. Jenny is the girl I was telling you about, the top paranormal investigator. That's Jenny.
Welcome, Jenny, to the show.
Hello, Jenny.
So Jenny, Oh, Glendore is absolutely beautiful.
That's
Glendore,
where the McNicholas Castle would be.
yeah. Well, Glendore is a beautiful little cove in Cork, and it's not too far away from the Drumbeg Stone Circle. But it is one of these picturesque little cove villages. Absolutely stunning. Um, I brought a group down there. We went to the Stone Circle, Drumbeg, and again, it's a funny story. Do you want me to tell you this one?
Sure, go ahead. This is all about you, not me.
Well, we had a reasonably small bus, not a big bus, and we were going from one place to another, but we're not booked in to a tour. So we're driving along, and I saw the signpost for Drumbeg, and I said to the bus driver, "You know what we'll do? We'll just pop up and bring them up to the Stone Circle." So he says, "Yeah, right, no problem." So off we go up to the Stone Circle. Got up there, narrow road, and as you're going up, it's getting more and more narrow. But we got there, and we spent about an hour there, and everybody absolutely loved it. And the scenery from there is beautiful as well. But anyhow, for some unknown reason, we get back into the bus, and instead of turning to the left the way we came up, the bus driver turned to the right. And we started going up a mountain. And as we were going up the mountain, the road was getting narrower and narrower. And I'm thinking, something very wrong here. And at this stage, we had to keep going because we couldn't reverse back and we couldn't turn. So we had to keep going. And the bus driver realized the sat nav had brought him somewhere totally out of where we were supposed to be. But so I'm thinking,
What they do.
oh my God, I am sweating it now at this stage. And I'm thinking, oh, sweet Lord God in heaven, please don't let us be stuck on the top of a mountain. So we get to this road, and it was the only viable road we could go on, because if we had kept going, we'd have ended up in a bog. So we get on this road and we keep going, and eventually we get to a very sharp bend, and there's a building, like an outhouse, a cow house on one side, and there's a wall on the other side, and we had to get the bus in around the bend. So we had a psychic medium and a pastor on the bus. And the two of them go out and they're directing the bus driver how to do it. The psychic medium, the pastor, and the bus driver. And we ended up driving straight into the front yard of an old woman's house. You couldn't make this stuff up. And there she is, her front door is open. There she is at her table. She has her knife and fork in her hand. She's looking out the door with her mouth open, looking at this bus with about 27 people on it, going through her yard to go out to the other road on the other side of her yard. It was hilarious. But I mean, we thought we were stuck. Like there was nowhere we could go, but it was hilarious.
Well, I have to tell you, Peppa Pig says sat nav is horrible. She makes fun of her dad on every time he has to use sat nav. So Peppa Pig has some wisdom here.
Yes, she has. Well, it's not too bad in America, but I can guarantee you in Ireland it is not the best. Not the best at all.
We have way
Not
too
that
many.
great here either.
No, we have way too many options. The
Yeah.
free options are the ones that really get us screwed, but that's a whole different problem. So, and Jenny, no, it's not only in Ireland. Once you've been on the kiss your ass roads in Kentucky or West Virginia, you've done it. So by the time we get there, we will have already done it.
Yeah.
In the back roads of West Virginia. So, so how long have you been doing these, the Secret Ireland tours?
Well, I'll tell you, I registered, I came up with the idea. Do you know how I came up with the idea, first of all? I'll tell you about that first of all.
Okay.
I am a traditional singer. I'm a recording artist. And when I moved over to America in 2013, I'm here 11 years now. I was performing in all the Irish festivals and concerts and all around the country. Like I've probably performed in about 27 states. So I'd stand up and I would talk about the traditional songs and where the traditional songs are from. And I'd talk about the people in the songs or the history of the song. And people started coming up to me saying, did you ever think about putting a group together and bringing them over to Ireland and showing them all these places you talk about in your songs? Now, when it's said to you once or twice or maybe 5 times, you kind of don't heed it. You kind of rub it off. But
Right.
when it's said to you 30 times, you think, okay, am I being told something here?
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm a great believer in God kind of guiding me to wherever I'm supposed to go. So I says, okay, God, what do I do? Honestly, I'm not telling you a word of a lie. One thing after another started coming in front of me. Even my logo. I opened up a magazine one day and there it was. I thought, wow, that would be a great logo. And then I opened up something else and I saw you never plow a field by turning it over in your head. And that's kind of my tagline. So, you know, and I like, because I'm a traditional singer and I've performed all over Ireland, I have a lot of contacts around Ireland and I've seen a lot of Ireland and I know a lot of Ireland. And I used to see, when I was living there, I used to see, for instance, I lived in a small little village called Gurchin, South Sligo, and about 10 miles away from me, there was this 12th century abbey, Cistercian Abbey, Boyle Cistercian Abbey. Amazing ruins of this amazing building. And I would see these busloads pulling up, parking. I'd watch about 50 people getting out of the bus, taking photographs, and then going back in the bus. And I remember thinking, what an absolute waste of time and money and energy that is, because they don't even know what they're bloody looking at.
Right.
You know, and they could take a photograph, and in 10 years' time, they'll look at this amazing photograph of this amazing building and they won't know what it is.
Right. They wouldn't know.
So I remember thinking, what a waste. I mean, people need to learn about the history of the venue. They need to learn about the myths and legends. They need to be able to get a sense of wherever they're visiting, either by talking to the locals or having a local guide tell you about it, or, you know, even being able to walk through it and to be able to just get a sense of it yourself, that kind of a thing. Oh, there's Cindy. Cindy was on the tour with me there a few weeks ago. Hi, Cindy. So, do you know, I mean, just so anyhow, looking at that and then coming over to Ireland or coming over to America, and people would say to me, oh, yeah, I was in Ireland. And I'd say, where did you go? What did you see? Oh, we went all over Ireland. But they couldn't name one place
Right.
where they'd been. And I remember thinking, what an awful pity it is for them. So when I started creating these tours, I created tours that you wouldn't take in the whole country in one go, because you can't, if you want to get any value out of it.
Right.
You would take an area and you would let people really get a feel for the area and really get to see places. And I mean, let's say the northwest of Ireland, where I'm from, it's rich with archaeological sites. I mean, we've got underground passage tombs that predate the pyramids by 800 years. We've got court tombs that are 5,000 and 6,000 years old. It's an amazing place for like just the history alone and the archaeological sites alone. Then you've got castles all over the place, and you've got, as Chris Mine says, we've got distilleries all over the place as well, you know, and beer brewing places. I mean, there's so much. Even if you wanted to do surfing in Strandhill in Sligo, they've got the international surfing competitions. It nearly has everything. The only thing we really don't have is, I couldn't guarantee you that you'd have great weather for a full 2 weeks. I couldn't guarantee you what sort of weather we'd have. But other than that, it really has everything else. And that's why I decided to do the tours. And then the paranormal and the ambassador program that I have, that came by accident as well. So I've been doing it. I started the tours, I started creating them in 2015. To make a long story short, Denise, we can't do
You've
it.
got all the time in the world.
If you're Irish, you can't make a long story short. But my first tour was the end of 2017, and I've been doing it since.
And you had a small break during COVID because people couldn't
Oh
travel.
my gosh, that kind of wiped me out during COVID. And then, unfortunately, I had another break for about 2.5 years. I ended up getting sick, and that wasn't nice. But however, we're back. We're back fighting the good fight and bringing people back to Ireland. So, the first tour I've had was the October tour, actually, and I won't have another one now until May. And I have then, hopefully, Chris Fleming will be in good form and he will do the June one. Vanessa is doing Northern Ireland and Scotland one at the beginning of June. And we only have 2 places left on that. If anyone wants to join us, Northern Ireland and Scotland, we've only got 2 places, a twin room, if anyone wants to join us. And then Paul Goddard, he's a hypnotherapist, but he's also into the paranormal. He has a tour in July. Rick McCollum is doing a tour in September. Michelle Roos is doing a tour in September. And I have Rob Thompson in October, and Austin Ghost Tours are doing an October tour as well. So we're doing okay. We're tipping along nicely.
So I have some more things to tell you. Cindy says she loved your Ireland tour so much. The history was absolutely awesome, and the investigations and time with Jenny Sullivan was absolutely epic.
Yeah.
And then Crystal, she says that when she went to Ireland, she stayed in a cabin
in Killaloo. Oh, it's
Killaloo.
a lovely little town, Killaloo is. I have a very good friend actually living in Killaloo. He is actually a songwriter. Cormac McConnell is his name. And he's from a very well-known musical family, and he lives in Killaloo. So, yes, it's a lovely little place to visit.
Yeah, Crystal's gone everywhere. She
find Pridemore Castle.
Well, we already found the Roach one.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I mean, I knew that part of my family was Irish. I just didn't know which part, but I assumed it was the part with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's side is more Irish.
So, but it'll be interesting to check it out. So, when people decide they want to go on one of your tours, how far in advance do they need to book RSVP?
Well, you see, that's the thing. We have a registration date, usually about 5 to 6 months out. But we have it advertised, usually we have it advertised a good year in advance. And we do that so that if anyone wants to avail of the installment plan. Now, I could do a 3-month installment plan. I could do a 12-month installment plan or a 10-month installment plan if people want to avail of it. So it's up to the people to either wait for the registration date and book then, or do it way in advance and use the installment plan. A lot of people like the installment plan. You know, it comes out automatically out of their account every month, and they have it paid off in no time. And they like it. It's there for people to avail of if they want to. Otherwise, they can just wait. But I usually the tours fill up way before the registration date anyway. You know, so if they were interested in it, look at the website, look at the tours. If there's a tour that they were interested in, I would tell them, secure your place. And if you decide that you don't want to go, I have up until 14 days after the registration date. If people want to cancel, they get their full deposit back. So they have way up until, you might book 3 or 4 months before the registration date, and that secures your place. But if you decided you wanted to cancel, you could cancel right up to and after 14 days after the registration date.
Okay.
But
So
otherwise,
if you have buyer's remorse, you've got time to.
yeah, you've got any amount of time. And even if they use the installment plan and wanted to cancel 14 days before, I would refund them whatever money they've paid.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's just that
So-
they can secure their place early.
So, Karen, my mother-in-law, his mom,
Hi, Karen.
says that the Bernison half is Swede and half Irish
Yep.
of her family. So
Yeah,
that's
I knew that was Swedish.
Yes.
and then Jenny, thank you so much for sharing this out. We really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Jenny.
So
Jenny is a good friend. We were on a call the other evening. It was going to be a 10-minute call. 3 hours later, we say goodnight.
Yeah,
I can see
you know how
that.
that is.
Yeah. I plan a show for an hour and a half and it goes, the show goes an hour and a half, but the after show goes for another hour and a half.
Yeah, yeah.
And it gets long sometimes. So
It does. But sometimes, you have a lot to say, or you get into a discussion and it's great.
How many people do you take up to? Was it 26?
Normally 25, 26, but if there was really a demand, I'd take 30, but no more than 30.
Oh, okay.
It's nice to have a nice kind of a small group.
Yeah.
It's, people get to know, if there's 25, 26, 30 people, everybody gets to know each other, but I wouldn't be taking 50 people. It's just,
Right.
it wouldn't be as comfortable. It's not as nice. People would just group into little cliques. So with 25 people, everybody gets to know everybody else. And it's amazing because everybody, like for instance, yesterday evening, I had a Zoom call with, I think it was 5 of the women from the tour in October and Jenny. So we had a great chat, just a catch up and a chat, because we've all become friends, and they've all become friends. And it's priceless to be able to be part of all that, to watch people. I've explained it in another podcast that I was doing. I enjoy watching people coming in to the airport in Dublin. And, some people might be traveling alone, some people might be in a group, but they're kind of shy and they're quiet and they're nervous and they get to be introduced to other people. And, we go off on our tour and they're in the bus and people are kind of quiet the first day. And the next day they're a little bit chattier. And by day 3, everybody knows everybody else. And you can hear the volume in the bus rising and you can hear the laughter. And then by the time the tour is over, you're watching these people exchanging phone numbers and emails. And then you come back to America and you watch them contacting each other on Facebook and, making comments about posts. And then down the road, you see that they're planning to visit each other. And it's fantastic to be part of, to know that you're part of that.
I have a feeling that if we come with the people that are supposed to be there, you're going to know that we're all there right away.
Which tour are you thinking about coming on, Denise?
September with Rick.
Yeah.
Kat Hobson's going on that one.
Kat is going on that, yes.
Yep.
And
Kat and I and Ron have been good friends for 10 years. We started our podcasts around the same time. We've been on the same networks.
Yeah.
We keep ending up together. And we moved to Florida and she has a house over in Gulf Shores. So we make sure we see each other as much as we can.
Yeah.
So, and
she's one of the nicest people I know. And you know who's another absolutely lovely person? Patty Negri.
Yes,
yeah.
She is. Yeah. She is so
genuine and down to earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed about her when I talked to her is that she doesn't talk to other people like.
Does she do?
Like she's better than them.
You have her on a tour?
She was an ambassador. Really? She was an ambassador for me 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we had a great time. She's really a lovely person. I brought her to. Actually, here's a funny story, and she won't mind me telling you because I've told it before. we went up to the Giant's Causeway in Antrim. It's a stunning place. It's a UNESCO site, very, very unusual place. So we're walking up, she's walking in front of me, and I'm videoing, you know. So I go in front of her. I says, "Now, Patty," I said, "what do you think?" And she looks out at the rocks and she's looking and she's there and she's speechless. I says, "You're speechless." She says, "Yes, I am." And she says, "That's not a usual thing in my world for me to be speechless." But it really was. It was priceless to see her. She was just blown away by the place, you know. But we had a great tour, that particular tour with Patty. It was very relaxed. A lot of things happened on that tour as well. Yeah, she's a very nice. We were supposed to have one in May, but we've decided to change it over to 2026, and I'm going to change it slightly. We were going to be doing workshops, which she will still do, but we're going to change it slightly. We're going to make it a little bit more witchy. Good witchy.
Yeah.
Well, she does claim to be a white witch, so
Yeah.
unlike Bloody Mary that doesn't.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Oh, they got them too. That was funny.
Oh yeah, when the
I
two
said,
of them,
this is not going to end well.
yeah, when the two of them were on ghost adventures
Yeah.
together on their Halloween special, it
Like,
was
go
funny.
Patty, go get her.
So there was Bloody Mary from New Orleans, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Patty was on the same
Yep.
program.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I wonder
They
how
brought him in the same room.
did they, how did that work?
Not very well.
Yeah. It was in the basement of the
Yeah, she turns.
museum in Vegas.
Patty turns and looks at the camera and says, I don't like her. I don't like her.
Really? Oh yeah. Patty,
It was funny.
yeah.
It's like, uh-oh.
Very sensitive.
So,
you know.
Well, you know, we've been to New Orleans a couple times. We have never made it on Mary's tours. And the biggest reason is when we went, we had kids, you know, and her tours aren't appropriate for children.
Okay.
You know, so that was one of the things. But, you know, when we went, I went and I got a guide to the area. And I found all the haunted places and I mapped them out on a map and we went on a walk and we did that with the kids.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not as good because I don't know the local stuff other than what you can read on the internet. But the kids still liked it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, when we took them to the LaLaurie Mansion and things like that, they remember it.
Yeah.
They just don't know the whole story. And I said, neither do I. And I said, I don't think anybody truly does know the whole story about some of those areas because they're not all shared completely.
You know,
only the horrific parts are shared usually.
It's the truth though, Denise, because you know, sometimes when horrendous things happen, people, like, I know that coming over from Ireland and meeting people whose heritage is Irish, a lot of the times I would hear people saying, my grandmother would never talk about Ireland. And I'd say a lot of the locals that would be, let's say, New Orleans or different places, you might not have heard the stories from a lot of the people that were involved because for some reason older people didn't talk about something that wasn't nice.
Yeah.
You know, and unless it's written down and handed down, or unless it's handed down from one person to another, it's kind of it's hearsay or it's, you know, made up or whatever. You'd hope that a lot of the tour guides would, what they're telling you is actual truth, but you know, you're dependent on them to tell you the history as they know it and as it has been handed down to them. But you just don't know, really, do you?
No, and we found that out firsthand. We used to be the tour guides at the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas. And so Atchison has multiple tours all through town, and I had to learn them all, and all the history and stuff, because I was a backup tour guide for other things, not just the Sally House,
tour.
the bus tour, the walking tour, all of those different things. I had to know all this stuff. What's bad is that my left and my right get mixed up when I'm backwards. So that's one of my problems. but yeah, I mean, a lot of the stories that they would tell they were more hearsay than they were factual. And so when I first started doing that, it was all hearsay.
Yeah.
And eventually I went in and dug in and got all the truth out of out of the Sally House, out of the family, out of, through newspapers and things like that, got the truth.
Yeah.
And guess what? They don't want me back.
Really?
Nobody likes the truth in some of the paranormal people would rather go with legend than fact.
Yeah.
And but then I have other people who are just extremely excited that I shared the truth with them, as opposed to just regurgitating the same old story week after week.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And knowing that it's not the truth.
Yeah.
That, and it's great to make up all these exciting stories that'll get people going, but I think people prefer to hear the truth of the building and the history of the people and what actually happened to them.
That's the way I looked at it when I was doing the tours and stuff. And Ron would go ask her, she knows.
Well, the thing is, we don't exactly know why that house was haunted.
Mm-mm.
It might be the land, it might not be the house, it might be what's underneath the house.
It could have been somebody conjured something up too.
Yeah.
Exactly. You'd never know. They might have been doing some sort of Ouija board stuff that they didn't know how to handle. I know that. Go ahead. Well, I know that there was a school that we went down to in Cork. It's very well known now for being haunted. It's haunted. It's actually a working school. Colossta Eamon Rees it's called. But I mean, you can find it on YouTube, and you can see where, doors were banging, and so it is built on lands where there was a guillotine, and there was a mass grave in that area where that school is built. The school is built on land where there was a mass grave and where there was a guillotine, and even children were killed with that guillotine. But it's very active. And yes, it's very active. And they were doing, Ryan O'Neill from Scotland was over with us for a few days as well. And they went into the school and they did some investigations, and they got some stuff. But when we came back from the tour, the principal of the school sent myself, Dave Schrader, and Ryan O'Neill. Yes, there you go. Cindy was there. The evidence we got in Cork School was insane, hair-raising, screaming. But there was a picture sent to us where one of the doors were actually ripped off the hinges. That's how active that place is. And, the teacher would have told the group that, sometimes people would be locked in their rooms. They'd go into a schoolroom, like the music room or the biology lab, and they'd actually be locked in, and they'd have to get somebody to come and unlock them and get them out. And this is even during the day. But a lot of stuff happened at night, and a lot of stuff happened to the music teacher, who was also, I think, the caretaker. So he came to the school and he kind of explained to us stuff that had happened to him and himself and Chris, when Chris was there, and he put it on his TV program, his Spooked Ireland TV program. It was one of the places featured. Himself and Morris, the music teacher, actually saw a full figure running across the room. Both of them saw it together. It wasn't an imaginary thing where one saw it and actually two of them saw it together.
Yeah.
And Morris had some really hair-raising stories to tell the group of things that had happened in that school. But it wasn't the school, it was the land that it was on. And then again, of course, they talked about the Christian Brothers, and now I doubt very much if the Christian Brothers would have killed anyone, but you know, I suppose things probably happened there as well. I don't know. But it has a history of sightings and activity in the place. So we're going in June again with Chris, and we're going to that school, and we're going to Lep Castle, and we're going to other places, you know. So it's going to be another exciting kind of a.
Yeah, we saw Lep Castle was on a show. Yeah, it's like 10, 12 years ago. Yeah, well, I don't know. They took these families in, they take them into scary places.
Blindfolded to start with.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they took this, and most of them would make it through the night. They're supposed to stay there the whole night.
Yeah.
They put cameras on them and that, and show them, you know, right in their face. This family, they had so much going on. I mean, within like an hour or two,
Really,
they were out of there by, I think 1 o'clock in the morning. They didn't even come near making it. They paid them a lot of money if they did make it all night.
Yeah.
They all said, "Oh, the hell with the money. We're out of here."
We're out there. Well, Sean
scared the crap out of them.
Yeah, Sean would talk about that they would hear screaming, and they think it's the little girls. There's Harriet and Emily, who lived there, and one of those little girls, I think it was Harriet, that found her way up on the tower, some way, however she did it. She found her way up on the tower, and she fell down, and she got killed. But Harriet and Emily make an appearance every so often, and they play. Sean has seen them. His wife Anne has seen them. And then when they appear, the governess appears. Now, Sean calls her the governess because she's kind of in black, and she always appears when the children appear. So he's presuming that she was the governess that looked after them when they were alive. Now, he also talks about the elemental. It's something he does not want to annoy. But as I said, I was telling you that when I was up, we were up in the bloody chapel, and I got this horrendous smell of bad meat. And somebody
they had that too.
Yeah. Somebody else in the group smelt it as well. And then somebody said that this smelled sulfur, bad smell of sulfur. And Jenny, funny enough, Jenny told me that when she was there, she's investigated Lep Castle for years. She's been in and out of Lep Castle. I mean, it's like her second home. And she told me that she was up in the bloody church one time, and she said that the smell, she actually thought she was on fire because of the smell of sulfur. She had to get out of there fast. She was telling me that the other night, actually. But I was telling her about the smell of bad meat, and one of the women that was on the tour sent me an article, and it was talking about the elemental in Lep Castle and how sometimes you know that it's near when there's a smell of bad meat or a smell of sulfur. And I looked around for dead animals. I thought it might be a dead animal, but there wasn't. There wasn't a bird, there wasn't a rat, there wasn't a mouse, nothing. It was horrendous. It was really, now, you know, you'd nearly gag with the smell. It was bad. But yeah, and you know, they reckon all around that place, even the laneway down into it is very haunted, because when the brother killed his priest brother, there was two brothers that inherited the estate and the castle and the land, and one of them was a priest, and he used to say mass in the chapel upstairs. And the other guy didn't like the idea of having to share the whole thing with him. He was a very jealous, evil kind of a person. And he went up one day in the middle of mass. Now, they reckon that he was mad because the mass was started before he arrived, but he slaughtered his brother. in the middle of Mass. And there's a story that at one stage, you see, he had all the locals come up and help him with the castle and help him with some of the work that had to be done around the castle and around the lands. About 40 men. And they were complaining that they weren't getting paid. So he decided that he would invite them all for a big banquet, a big dinner. And on the way up, he had them all slaughtered. So now Rick McCollum had a very serious incident just outside Leap Castle on that driveway. He'll tell you about it sometime. I won't tell you. He'll tell you about it sometime. But it was.
I think he did, but I don't remember it all. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that he talked about it because Ron asked him lots of questions about Leap Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a really serious, I mean, they really thought that he was going to die. It was really serious. And he was lucky enough. There's Jenny saying Leap Castle's after 6 years. Oh, that's right. Jenny actually appeared on Spooked Ireland.
I was going to say that. She looks familiar.
She appeared in Spooked Ireland.
Yeah, I've been watching the show, seeing if I can catch any of the same places we might be going.
Yeah. But it's one of these real active places. But I think the group really enjoyed it, and they enjoyed Sean telling them the stories, and he got out his whistle and he played a tune or two on the whistle, and it was just it was nice. Yeah, and Anne, of course, his wife, was there for a while, and
one of our guests last week said something. He said, when you go to Ireland, you go to see Ireland and the people of the place, not the melting pot places have become.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to leave those big cities to find the people that made the country what it is.
Yeah. You go outside of the cities. Even though like Dublin has an awful lot to offer, like, I mean, it has so much, the Book of Kells, Trinity College, Dublin Castle, so much, Guinness Storehouse, Jameson, there's so much, the Leprechaun Museum, which actually is very good fun. Believe it or not, I brought a group of adults and children to the Leprechaun Museum, and I actually totally enjoyed the whole thing and the way they have it set up. It really is a good place to visit just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So now you said that. Yesterday, I threw away a leprechaun trap that my granddaughter made for St. Patrick's Day.
Did she? God love her, did she?
Yeah, she doesn't know I threw it away.
I don't think it worked anyway.
Yeah, it didn't work. But it's only a cardboard box with a bunch of leprechauns on it. But it just made me laugh.
You won't catch them unless there's a full moon.
Well, that's what she was told.
Yeah.
Her teacher told her that. And so, but yeah, she told me, don't throw away my leprechaun box, Grandma. I need it so I can use it next St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. And I was like, what makes you think that there's only leprechauns on St. Patrick's Day? And that got her to thinking. So
it was
Richard.
It was very funny.
They might want to go too. Yeah. Richard and Colleen.
My little grandson, he was born in New Jersey. Connor is his name, and they've moved back to Ireland. Both his mother and father are Irish, and he's the only American in the family. Well, I'm American now too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did it the hard way, right?
Yes, I did it, and I became a citizen in 2021. So I'm one with the gang.
Yeah. So are you also a Cincinnati Bengals fan?
Denise, I'm going to tell you here and now, I haven't a clue. They brought me to a bang. That's the baseball, is it? Yeah.
No, it's football. They're on tonight in Denver.
It doesn't matter whether it's football or whether it's baseball.
Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland. Never mind Cleveland. Ireland.
Yeah, they brought me
Crappy
to,
city of Ohio.
I've been brought to the football and I've been brought to the baseball. And I'm sitting there like an absolute fool because I haven't a clue what's going on. So when my gang, that's anyone that's with me, starts cheering, I think, okay, it's time for me to clap. And if they go, oh, then I kind of keep my mouth shut. But looking at whatever the hell is going on in the field, I haven't a clue. And if you even try to explain it to me, you're wasting your time. I haven't a clue. So I said to my husband, the last day I was dragged out to one of these things, it was a baseball game. I leaned over at him and I said, don't ever ask me to come out to one of these things again, because it is an absolute waste of my time. So I think we've settled that one now. But talking about my grandson, I want to tell you this. So anyhow, he's home in Ireland and he's only 6, but since he was about 2, he's Irish and he wanted to live in Ireland, and he reckoned he was born in Ireland, and he was telling his teachers this, and it's amazing. I mean, the child is an old soul. But anyhow, he rings me last week. He gets his mom to ring me. Granny, guess what? And I says, what? I lost my tooth, his first tooth. So I says, wow, Connor, this is so exciting. I said, the tooth fairy is going to come in and give you money. He looked, he says, Granny, he says, there's no such thing. They don't exist. I says, you're living in Ireland now, Connor. Yes, they do exist. Wait till you see what happens tomorrow morning. So the next day he rings me and he says, Granny, the tooth fairy came. The innocence of it. But however, yes, we're full of fairies and leprechauns and banshees and pukas and the whole works.
Well, I'll tell you, the tooth fairy came to see me in New Jersey. I don't know how many times, because I used to live there, and the tooth fairy came when I lived there.
There you go.
I can't say that the tooth fairy came when I lived in Baltimore, because it didn't, but it was there many times in New Jersey.
Yes, well, it's in Ireland now, and tooth fairy was a very, very sought after little thing when we were growing up. The tooth fairy. But however, yeah, it was funny. They don't exist, Granny. And I thought, oh no, we have to continue on this tradition. Yes, they do, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many traditions that need to keep the children innocent.
Yeah.
And as long as we can, no matter what thing it is, we're not going to get into those, because children listen to the show, and I know it. Yeah. So, but tooth fairies are great.
Yeah, but we always, New Year's Eve at home in Ireland, we would always throw out, you make the tea with the tea leaves in the pot, and we would always make sure that we throw the tea leaves out the back to the fairies, so that they'll be good to us for the new year. And we do that to this day. And it's not that the children do it, the adults do it. And we will not walk into a fairy fort unless we get permission from the fairy.
So what is a fairy fort?
It would be a circular mound, usually a circular trees around it, but it's where the fairies live. And sometimes you'd see, when you're driving along in Ireland, you'd see a lone hawthorn tree in a field. But if it has rocks at the bottom of it, it's a fairy tree. And that's where the fairies go to the underworld, through the rocks. And you would
know that we say that we've got fairy rings when the mushrooms come up.
Yes,
that's also ring.
Yeah, that's a fairy ring, but a fairy fort,
we got a whole bunch of those.
Yeah, a fairy fort is a mound and trees growing in a circle, but the fairy trees, the lone tree in a field, a farmer will not interfere with that tree. Point blank, will not interfere. And most farmers, or most people in Ireland, will not interfere with the fairy fort. You walk into a fairy fort if you feel that you're welcome, but you always bring a gift, or you always sing a song, or you always do something. I mean, that's a strong to this day, that's a strong belief in Ireland.
So what kind of gifts do you bring fairies?
Well, you could bring them some flowers, or you could bring them something silver. They like little silver, little knickknacks, even an earring. They'd like.
Okay. So their favorite color is shiny.
Shiny, yes. Yes. Yeah, exactly. But I would always sing a song when I go to Pat Noon's. He has a very special farm. I bring people to it. He has a standing stone. He has a fertility stone. He has a thing called a cairn. Now, a cairn is an underground passage to him, but it's covered. It's a covered mound, and it dates 5,000-6,000 years old. And then he has a fairy portal where the white thorn and the black thorn grow up and they converge, and you stand in between those two trees, and you definitely, things happen. I know that when I stood there, now I have no sense of smell. But the funny thing is, I tend to smell things that are out of this world, like rotten meat. And there's places sometimes I smell smoke. If I walk into a room, I can smell cigar smoke or tobacco smoke. And it usually is a place where people smoked. And then that portal that Pat has on his land, I'd smell the sweet smell of roses. And as soon as you walk away from it, the smell is gone. But he also then has the fairy fort, and we go up there, and he will ask people to pick some rushes or some leaves, or long grass or something, and just bring it in there and tie it up to one of the branches on the trees as a gift, if you don't have a gift to bring, just so that they know that you're coming with respect.
So on this trip, bring something shiny just in case.
Yes, and we're probably going to be somewhere. Bring a little piece of thread as well, because there's wishing trees in Ireland as well.
Okay.
Where you can put a little piece of garment or a thread or something that belongs to you, tie it up to the branch and make a wish, and it'll bring it up to the cosmos, and your wish will be granted if it's good for you.
Okay. Well, that's always good to know if it's good for me. If I'm wishing for my food to be completely fat-free for the rest of my life, that's not going to be good for me.
No, well, it's not. You're not going to like it very much, but it might be good for you.
No, you still need fat. I mean,
you need good fat.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we already bought a raincoat for me. If Ron wears his raincoat,
guess what color it is?
Oh yeah, guess what color my raincoat is?
She's gonna stand out. No,
it's not green.
See, all she has is purple clothes, so she's really gonna stand out.
Oh really?
Yeah.
When I pack for trips and stuff, everything I
bring, tourist, purple.
Everything will be around the same color, so that I don't have to worry about makeup. I don't have to worry about shoes. Everything matches no matter how I put it together.
Exactly. And
I don't have to think.
Yeah. And I just say to people, I wouldn't worry too much about makeup or there's no place that will be having to do formal dressing.
I don't wear makeup now. So
yeah. And I say to people, get yourself a good pair of waterproof walking shoes.
Yep.
And whenever you're going out, just have your good waterproof walking shoes. Be prepared just in case it'll rain, because I can't guarantee that it will or it won't.
Oh, it will.
Yeah. Kat told me, she goes, make sure you bring extra shoes too, and extra socks.
Yeah.
So
I always, like as from, let's say, January, I'll be starting to send emails out to people and letting them know what to pack. And I even sent a video showing people how to pack, that you can get the most into you don't need a massive case, or you don't need 2 cases. You really don't. And we could at some stage organize laundry as well for people if they wanted to do that. But I just send out lists of, emails letting people know what sort of clothes you should bring. For instance, if you're on meds, make sure that you bring enough meds. Go to your phone provider. I advise them on every aspect of the tour, so that they know, what they should
What
and
to
they shouldn't do.
expect.
Yeah, what they should and they shouldn't do before they go. And, they don't land over in Ireland without an adapter for their laptop, for instance. I'll have it in an email, and I'll even show them a picture of a laptop, of an adapter that they could order on Amazon if they wanted to. And I even have a video of euros, what euros look like. But of course, you'll be in the Republic, but you're also going to be in the north of Ireland, and I do not have any pounds to show people. But you won't be there that long. But you will be going up to the Giant's Causeway, and you'll be going to Bushmills Distillery.
Oh, and Crystal says always have a photocopy of your ID and your passport, just in case.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And make sure that you always have those very close. I always suggest people to get either a jacket or a coat with inside pockets, so that you can have your very, very important documents like your passport, your credit cards, anything like that in, so that nobody can take it out. Some people, I had a couple who came over from England, and they put everything in a backpack and they had it on their back, and their wallet, the lot was taken off them, stolen. Lucky enough, the husband had a credit card in his pocket, as luck would have it. He didn't put it back into his wallet, and he was able to use the credit card, but they had to get an emergency. This is after Brexit now, so they had to have a passport to come to Ireland. Once upon a time, you didn't need that.
Yeah.
But now they do. So they had to get an emergency passport to get back home. Oh, it was awful. It was, and they think it was between the front door of the airport and the taxi this happened. So I tell people, if you have a backpack, put it on your front. Yes. Carry it on your front. Don't carry it on your back. So then you know that nobody is going to come near you.
Yeah.
Or get a fanny pack.
Oh, yes, exactly.
And they're going to make a comeback this year with leg warmers and everything. I swear.
Yeah, absolutely. I would advise people to get one of them.
You recommend paying with what, cash, credit card, or
credit cards? You don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Well, you can. Are you talking about when you're over in Ireland or over in England? Well, most people most people take credit cards. But what you can do, if you don't want to buy euros in America, there's an ATM just in Terminal 2, and you can get some cash out there. It's always good, just in case anything would happen, to have a little bit of cash on you anyway. But you can buy most things with credit cards. Most places take credit cards now. There was a time when I was living there, some places did not like American Express.
Right.
That's same here.
I don't know if that has changed now, but they didn't like American Express. So if you had a Visa, there's anywhere and everywhere, people will accept Visa. And when you're asked what currency,
you might do that.
Yeah, when you're asked, then when you're buying anything in Ireland or in Britain, for instance, what currency do you want to use? Always use the local currency for the best rate. Like if it's in Ireland, you use euro. You press euro as opposed to dollars.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So there's no problem. The ATM is there and you can get cash out, and you wouldn't need that much anyhow, really, because all the venues will be paid for. You can use a credit card if you're buying meals. If you want to get little trinkets, in gift shops and things like that, you might, but still the credit card would work in the gift shops. But I wouldn't get
sometimes it's easier to keep track if you have it on a Visa gift card.
We might just do that.
And if it's a case that you got a lot of cash out, you might not spend it, and then you're lumbered with euros.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here, if I want to put it back on my account, I can put it back on my account, but I have to go to my bank to do that.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Bank of America is not in Ireland.
No, it's not. No, It's not.
Cash is the easiest and get cheaper when you get to the Ireland, not at the airport.
No, not at the airport. I actually, that's the truth. You're better off getting an ATM in a town or a village. The exchange rate is not as high. They charge you the exchange rate in the airport, but they also charge you for the trouble that they went to first, whatever trouble it is. But you're better off, let's say we could stop at a little town or village and go to an ATM in one of the shops there. Most shops have ATMs.
So do all of your tours sell out?
No, not all of them. We had to, Patty's now, there wasn't much interest. And Dietz, we have changed it to 2026. I think people are slow this year, but I think come the new year, I think a lot of people will start booking. I have a funny feeling a lot of people will start booking different tours.
Well, yeah, we've got to renew our passports. I kind of we need to get that
tonight.
Yeah, we need to get that done.
Do it, yeah, because it takes a while. Now you can.
Well, we're just renewing ours.
Yeah.
We let it expire, so it should go pretty quick.
Well, you can expedite it, but it can take weeks to months even to renew it.
We're not worried about that
right
now because we've got
4 to 6 weeks for renewal. The first time it took about 3 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took 3 months to get the first one, but
you have plenty of time anyway.
Huh?
You have plenty of time to, anyway.
Yeah, we're going on a cruise in February, but we don't need our passport for that. We just have
we
to.
Kind of want to get.
I want to have it because like they say, if you have a medical emergency, it's better if you have a passport.
Yeah.
So what if I can't go back the same way I got there?
Yes, you do. You need, you're as well off having your passport with you.
Yeah.
Even though it is only Mexico, it's still Mexico. I know how things go.
Yeah.
I have the worst luck on some things. So I'd just be prepared.
Oh yeah. Always be prepared. But yeah, Rick's tour is going to be lovely because we're going up the north first and then we're going down the south. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
How many people have booked that so far?
There's only 12 at the moment, so there's a ways to go. So again, people, join us on Rick's tour. It'll be great.
Well, we got a few on here that we're trying to talk into going.
Come on, guys.
You guys want to know when we're going?
Susan and Mike and Richard and Colleen.
Yeah, September.
If she wants to go.
Yeah, September. What date is it in September? Let me just see if
it's September 1st.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, September the 1st to the 9th, isn't it?
Yeah.
That should be some decent. We should have decent weather.
Yeah, that's our granddaughter's birthday.
There will be decent weather. And I'll tell you another thing about September. Most of the tourists are gone back. Now, June, July, August is busy in Ireland. But September, people have gone back and the kids have gone back to school as well.
Yeah.
So it's a nice time and the weather is normally very nice in September.
Well, good. How about food?
Food?
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about what kind of food. I mean, what's the best places to eat there?
The food actually in Ireland, Ireland has become one of the destinations for foodie tours. The food is actually fantastic, and it's all most of it is fresh cooked.
Yeah, it's not ultra processed like
it's
here.
It's not. and you don't get that many McDonald's, and you get the odd Kentucky Fried Chicken and the odd McDonald's and Supermax, but usually, well, for instance, when we're on the road, we'll have lunch somewhere. Every day you'll have lunch, and then in the evenings you'd have dinner. Usually, probably in the hotel. But if you're in a city, people can just take off and eat wherever they want. I mean, there's Chinese, there's Indian restaurants, there's all sorts of restaurants, but the hotels have some great food. you know,
like I
the
said,
food.
I'd been remiss if I didn't ask because,
Yeah.
you know, I heard that Scottish food is horrible, but I don't know that. I've never been there.
I
That could be
don't
just
know.
people
You don't
telling us
like lamb
not to
or
come.
sheep, so.
I honestly, I don't know. I can't comment on the Scottish food because I've never been to Scotland. Something I regret. I'll have to make it there someday. But I mean, I lived only, God, I mean, you're talking about, you know, an hour, 2 hours on a flight, and
Right.
I never made it to Scotland, and it's a place I've always wanted to go, and never made it to Scotland. But
Well,
Vanessa,
maybe get that tour going and you can go too.
yeah, Vanessa is doing Northern Ireland and Scotland. I'm afraid I won't be able to go on many of the tours because unfortunately I get chemo every 3 weeks. And I missed it when I was on the tour in October. And not a good idea because I have, let's put it this way, things aren't looking great. I have to go back on full-blown chemo again now for a few months until we knock out whatever is just after repairing. But however, we're okay. We're fine. We'll do it. It'll be fine.
Well, you will be in our prayers, you
Thank
know,
you.
because it's the same as Chris Fleming is in our prayers. You know, I check on him every few
He
days.
seems to be doing better.
Yeah,
He's
he
doing
does.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be a little cold, you know, not having
Yeah.
any hair in the winter up
Yeah.
there. So,
Yeah, it's always cold up there. And my hair has gone blonde. I was
yeah, I was gonna say the pictures I saw of you, you had dark hair.
jet black hair, long black hair. And I said to my oncologist one day there a few weeks, well, maybe about 2 months ago, we were talking and, you know, serious talking. I was getting up to leave and I said to him, oh, by the way, as I said, I have a bone to pick with you. And he goes, okay, what do you want to say to me? And I said, have you been telling somebody to mess with the chemo because my hair has gone blonde? So we had a big laugh about that. And he said, well, actually, I have a few patients whose hair has changed color. And I said, well, my hair is going blonde, Dr. Flora.
Well, at least it didn't go gray.
Oh, it is. There's bits of it that's gray. Wait till I see.
Yeah, but you know what? You won't notice it in blonde hair like you do in this.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
you can see the little lines.
Yeah. But it's amazing. It's never did I think that I'd be blonde, but here I am.
Well, it is very becoming.
Well, thank you very much.
So,
I haven't got a choice, and I won't dye it. I'll never put dye into my hair again.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. If I got my hair, I told my hairdresser, I said, if you just dye my hair gray, I'll be excited when it comes in black. She won't do it. She won't do it.
No.
She said it would ruin my hair.
I'm not young enough.
I'm not
You
young
gotta
enough.
be 18 or 20
Oh,
to dye it gray.
Oh, I'm too old to dye it gray.
Yeah, that's the truth. You could be right, or maybe dye it blue or green or pink or something.
But I see a lot of women my age dyeing their hair purple. And in fact, my when I was in the hospital back in April, my nurse's name was Denise, and her hair was purple. But she had gone gray. And so when she goes, well, I went gray, she goes, I figured I might as well do something fun.
Yeah.
With it. So she dyed it purple.
Well,
I keep thinking that I'm going to let it grow out. But when you have this much hair, you can see it's going to take a while.
Yes. And
for it to grow out.
Yeah, it is.
And then we plan trips like going on a cruise where everybody's going to see me and I can't look like Cruella de Vil's skunk head, you know?
Yeah. That's the problem about it, letting it grow out, because it does annoy you. You know, it will annoy you because all of a sudden it'll be down to there and you'll think, oh my God, that looks bloody awful, you know. Mm-hmm. But I have a sister and she's grey, but she puts this shampoo, and to look at it, it looks like it's purple, but it actually gives her the most beautiful kind of a silvery look in her hair. And it really is nice.
Yeah, that nurse she was talking about, that's actually what she did. She didn't dye her hair. Yeah. She said her hair went gray and she used the shampoo and it kind of turned it like a purple.
Yes, it
looked natural.
Yeah, it looks kind of silvery. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, well, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I might do that.
Yeah, those washes are fine, because
Yeah.
you just do it and then, it gradually goes out of your hair.
Yeah.
So, but,
Yeah.
I thought about it, and my old hairdresser from Kansas City is going on this cruise with us, and I'll see what she thinks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because she cares about me. My new
She probably
hairdresser seems to care about me. She seems to like me a lot.
probably fix you up anyway.
I
Your
just,
hair.
but
Yeah,
I had
I'm
a hard
never,
time finding it.
yeah, I'm kind of one of these people. I was never too, I suppose I didn't have the guts to kind of experiment with color in my hair. It was always black, and I kept it black. And then before I got sick, I decided, because it was beginning to be gray, I decided, Sarah, I'm just going to let it grow out. And then I had no choice. It got so thin, it didn't all fall out, but it got very, very, very thin. And then it came back
Like
gray.
I said,
But
beautiful.
now it's blonde. It's hilarious. I find it funny. I mean, I would never have the guts to do this, if I had a choice. But it's okay. I'm fine with it.
I think, like I said, I think it's very becoming. And I've dyed my hair all different colors of different colors of brown and copper and
Yeah.
mahogany,
Red.
all these different colors.
Red.
But yeah, but it wasn't red because it was still the base color is still dark brown.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I just know that I keep saying let it grow out, cut it, grow, cut, grow, cut. And I'm
Yeah.
afraid I'm going to end up with hair to here, and then I'm going to be all upset because it took so long to grow back out.
I know, yeah. Well, that's talking about the tour and talking about what you bring on the tour. You make sure that you bring something to tie your hair back with, because otherwise, if it's windy, your hair's all over the place. So I've been telling people that have long hair, bring an elastic band or bring something to tie their hair with.
Yep, I do that
And you
when we
never
go to
know,
the
you
beach.
might even, I can't remember whether you'll be going, this castle behind me, it's called Malahide. And actually it has a lot of, there's at least 5 ghosts in that castle. There's one ghost called Puck. Now there's Puck. There's different stories about Puck, but there's one door into his bedroom and they can't close it. Now, the story I used to hear about Puck was he was a very small man in stature. And I can't remember the name of the family. Talbots. The Talbots owned that castle, and he was very loyal to the Talbots, and he wanted to fight in their army because these castles were always being attacked and invaded, and everywhere in Ireland. The Normans came, or the Vikings came, or the British came. There was always somebody attacking them. So he wanted to fight in the army, and of course he was too small. So they decided that they would make him a sentry, or somebody who would watch, a watchman. But anyway, one night he had a little bit too much to drink and he fell asleep, and the castle was attacked. Now, this is the story I was told. He ended up committing suicide. Now, when we were there, this time I brought the gang there a few weeks ago to Malahide, and it's a beautiful castle, and there's beautiful gardens all around it, and there's actually a butterfly garden there as well. But Kira, the tour guide, brought us around, and she had a story about how Puck was in love with one of the women of the family, and he wanted to marry her, but of course, she wasn't. He was too small. He just had this fascination with her, and I think they probably banished him, or something happened. Anyhow, the family didn't like the idea of him annoying this woman, and he died. But before he died, he said that he would haunt the house. And there's one door, the door to his bedroom, and Kira reckons that no matter what they have done, they cannot close the door. And the door is open and they cannot close it. It just will not close. And that's one of them. There's a lady in red in that castle as well. And there's a few more ghosts, but it is definitely an active castle.
Yeah, Charlieville's one of the ones that always intrigued me.
Yeah, we were in
we saw that on Scariest Places on Earth as well.
Too.
Yeah, we were in Charleville Castle. We did investigations there as well. They talked about Emily, the little girl that fell down the stairs. She's active there, and I don't know whether the girls or whether the people that were there, I don't know whether they got any evidence of anything there. Maybe Cindy can tell us if she's still watching. I didn't hear anything. I felt there's a red room and there's a bed that's associated with a lady that was there, and there was a monk that was associated with this bed as well. But I remember myself and Laura, one of the girls in the group, were in the room, and I'm looking around and we were talking about the monk that was associated with this particular bed. And I remember saying to Laura, I wonder what was the name of the woman that stayed in this room. And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I heard Constance. So I said to Laura, I said, Constance, I said, that's not a name that would be common in Ireland. So I went out to David, the curator, and I said, David, would the name Constance be associated in any way with this castle? And he says, absolutely. He said, that was her bedroom. And there was a few more Constance in the castle as well that were associated with the family. But that was the only thing now that I got. I didn't get any smells we even went downstairs and I even spoke in Irish to see if some of the children that we think might have been there, if they would have reacted. We did get some stuff downstairs. I think it was in the kitchen or in one of the rooms. We did get a little bit of reaction there, but otherwise, it's a beautiful place to visit, and it is one of the well-known castles that are very haunted.
Well, you've got our interest peaked a lot more. I mean, talking to Rick and Kat, I know that they did Scotland.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to doing Ireland, and because we had told everybody, Kat had a show and we were on it, and she told me I couldn't get political, and I told her, I said, okay. So I didn't get political. I said to her, I said, yep. I said, I had a test done. I said, it came back positive. I get to go to Ireland. And she goes, yeah. And this was right after the election. So I didn't get political.
Yeah.
So it was either we get to go to Ireland or we got to buy a gun.
Okay.
Or more guns.
More
bullets.
So
needless to say, we got guns and we got bullets, and we just don't have to buy more.
And you get to go to Ireland as well.
And I get to go to Ireland.
Yeah, exactly.
But is there anything that you would tell anybody who's on the fence about taking one of your tours?
Yeah, well, I'll tell. Yeah, let's say for anyone that is on their own and they're traveling on their own, or they'd love to come but they're on their own. Come, one way or another, whether you're on your own or not, because you'll only be there for about 10 minutes before you realize that you're with a group of people, like-minded people, who will welcome you with open arms, because it only takes about a day and all of a sudden you're all family. So don't be shy or don't be afraid to travel on your own, because as soon as you hit the airport in Dublin, people will be there waiting for you, and we look after you from the time you arrive in Dublin until we bring you back to the airport again. And you get to meet so many great people, and you make so many lifelong friends. It really is amazing. And you possibly will make friends that will want to travel with you again. That's my advice. And another thing, to be honest, people say, oh, I can't afford this or I can't afford that. Life is too short to be worried about. You can't, I know this for a fact. You cannot bring money with you. I learned that on my deathbed twice. You cannot bring money with you. It doesn't mean one thing to you when you're dying. It's the
Not
last
worth a dime at that point.
Yeah, it's the last thing that's on your mind when you're dying.
Yeah, we were talking to our financial advisor today. He got me thinking about how much time I want to goof off in this next part of my life versus working.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you guys, but you guys don't see spreadsheets here and spreadsheets there, and that I work quite a bit. Not as much as I used to, but I work quite a bit.
Well, I told you years ago, you gotta sacrifice some of that what you're making and dump it in your 401, your IRAs. I mean, you don't like it at the time, but I said there's going to be a time where you go, boy, I'm glad I did
that. Yeah.
Now I don't have to really worry about that part.
Yeah.
At least after a certain period, anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
But yep, I like telling my boss things like, my financial advisor said I could retire tomorrow. You know how much they really like it when you come to work?
Yeah, exactly.
They're extremely excited every day you show up.
Oh, you're here? Yay.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. But
nobody on their deathbed said, boy, I wished I would have worked a lot more.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But life is very short, and if you get the opportunity, you should travel and you should meet more people and you should broaden your horizons and see how people live around the world. Even though most people, no matter where you go, they're more or less the same. They get up in the morning, they go out to work, they make their money, they feed their family, they come home, they relax, and then they go to bed, and then they do the same thing the next day. But it's nice to be able to take a little bit of time for yourself, and now and again just look after yourself. Some people kind of feel guilty about it, but I think it's a necessary thing to do.
I agree. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite trips ever was when our 25th wedding anniversary, we went to the Bahamas.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And we did not take any tours. We just went wherever we wanted to go.
Yep, did our own.
And we met a man that lived there. He was in a wheelchair. He was missing a leg. And he sat there and he talked to us for over an hour. We were at the Queen's Victoria staircase.
He gave us the best information.
He did.
Out of anybody.
He told us about how they rebuild after hurricanes and all this. I mean, I was the hurricane contact for Sprint back then. So it was just interesting to hear.
He told us what to do, and he said, don't do that touristy stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay. If you have a local that's bringing you around the place and a local that knows what they're talking about and knows the area, it's so much better. It is much better. Because not alone would they have the history of the place, but they'd have some of the old myths and legends as well, And,
this guy was hilarious.
He even told us what areas not to go to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wish I had ran into him before we walked through the middle of court in the middle of town. That would have been nice to know, hey, this was court day. And so in the Bahamas, the courtrooms are these little huts.
And
there's little benches out in front, and the criminals are all sitting there waiting to go in. And we just walked right through the middle of it. We were completely oblivious to all of it.
And aren't you as well off that you were? Could you imagine if you went in the middle of it and you realized where you were and what you were around surrounding you?
Yeah.
Well, we did get lost a couple times while we were there too, but I'm too proud. I mean, my last name's Pridemore.
Yeah.
I was too proud to admit that I was lost.
No, actually, when we did walk through there, we got to the end. We're like, what the hell was that?
I turned around and I looked and I saw that it said court. So
you saw it at the end.
That was weird looking.
But we had a great time. And the best part was driving through town in the bus. You're in this bus with all these people that are going to work or whatever, and somebody yells KFC and the bus stops. and basically you just get on the bus and you ride it to the end and you're in the middle of town.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to stop before, you just yelled out, "Senior Frogs," and they stopped. And it was only 20 or 75 cents.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so there were times where they had to put down the jump seats and stuff. I mean, we were all walking over each other, but we found out that at the cheap resort that we stayed at, we were having a great time, but the people who paid for the extra crap for sandals were all complaining about the lack of service. And it's like, I can't get the people to leave me alone. They're bringing me drinks every 5 minutes. I mean,
that was when we were there.
And when we were
it
there,
wasn't very often.
There you go.
I'll tell you, those trips mean so much. Those experiences, mean so much. I mean, we learned a lot on that trip. We learned that we do not want layovers in Newark.
No, I knew that before.
I agree with you.
Oh, I knew that before.
Or
we got stuck
at that airport.
Yeah, we got stuck there for 6 hours.
Always got stuck there.
It's not a nice place. I was over in June for my sisters had a big 65th birthday for me. It was a kind of a celebration, and I went from Cincinnati to Newark. Now, when I got to Cincinnati, we were told that there was a delay, and the problem was in Newark. And then I got to Newark. I got to the gate 6 minutes before boarding. I was that 6 minutes. Get into the airplane, brought out onto the tarmac, sit in the tarmac for an hour and a half, brought back in again. The flight that was supposed to leave at 7 o'clock in the evening did not leave until 2:45 in the morning.
Oh.
It was
that is just really bad time management on their side.
And it was Newark that was causing the delay in Cincinnati.
Yeah. It's the airport.
The hell, there must have been, I don't know what was the problem, and on the way back, I had to wait 5 hours of a delay as well. And I was thinking,
short on people.
And they're really short on people who give
They're short on people in every department, everything there.
Yeah.
That's why they're always behind.
We're going to be going through Atlanta.
Yeah. Is that bad?
When we book a flight whenever you say it's go ahead and book. Okay.
Yeah, I let people know when to book because until it's full, there's no point in booking.
Right. We're gonna try and get the same flight as Kat.
Kat, yeah.
Like you said, we come out there.
She's going to be going to Atlanta. We're going to have to probably fly to Atlanta too. So
yeah.
Because I don't want to drive there.
No,
I hate.
We have a teeny tiny airport here with really easy parking, and it's cheap. It costs the same to fly out of here to Atlanta to there as it does for us to drive to Atlanta and go through all the crap.
Yeah. So anyone that's watching that wants to come with us, if you go to www.secretirelandtoursllc.com and click on Spooky
We're
Tours.
going to put it down here.
Yeah. secretirelandtoursllc.com and then click Spooky Tours and you'll see Rick's tour there.
I'm just making sure I spelled it right because it all runs together.
Yeah, Ireland, IRELAND Tours, LLC.com. And if anyone has any questions, just contact me at mai@secretirelandtoursllc.com and I can talk them through whatever they need help with if there's any problems in booking.
Well, the website is very clear.
Yeah, we have some availability yet, so it'd be a nice Christmas present, wouldn't it, Denise and Don?
It'd be
Ron, sorry. It'd be a nice Christmas present for somebody to give his wife or his girlfriend or whatever.
He better not give it to his girlfriend. I'll have to kill him. I'll be bringing my new boyfriend.
Yeah.
So, guys, if anything happens to Ron, just be aware it will happen.
This guy.
It'll happen on Groundhog
Good
Day
luck.
on the boat.
Good luck with this one.
There's a secret. See, the secret is all the men who have married women in my family, their spouses have died on Groundhog Day.
Oh my God.
She's looking forward to Groundhog Day. She's been hoping ever since.
We're going to be on the ship. So I told Ron, I said, I'm going to make sure
I may not be on there very long.
all day. The whole day. I'm going to make sure people
2 days. That's
are
it.
around. But
Surrounding myself with people.
Yeah, my mother's husband died on Groundhog's Day.
Really?
My sister's husband died on Groundhog Day. And we all got married in the same year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so he's outlived them all so far.
You'll keep going around now at this stage.
He's hoping.
I just told him, I said, just make sure you check your pockets when we're in Mexico. Make sure I didn't put shrimp in them when we go to the beach.
Oh my God.
We've been married for 40 years.
Yeah.
So we know.
You're not going to get rid of him now, Denise. No.
You're gonna push me off the boat.
Yeah.
I better get some upper body strength by then.
Look at all those naked women out there swimming. Whoa, where?
Yeah.
Mermaids. That's what I was.
Mermaids.
There I go.
The banshee's out there, and she's letting you know there's mermaids.
Yeah. Well, the banshee. I remember hearing the banshee one night. It's not a nice sound. It's kind of like.
Where was that at?
In Ireland, at home in my village.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was kind of, when cats are fighting or when they're mating.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shriller, higher pitched sound than that.
Oh wow!
And
I didn't really know that much. I didn't really know the history about banshees until I started watching the Spooked Ireland show. And they kind of went into detail on that. I was like, wow, I had no idea. I didn't know.
And the next morning, my next door neighbor died. Her name was Horan. There's certain names that's associated with the banshee. She warns of an impending death. But I heard it one night, and it was hurtful to the ear. It was really high pitched screech, kind of. Yeah. Kind of like cats, but it was a higher pitch.
Right.
And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
This show went a lot longer than I thought it would.
Oh my God.
I'm grateful for every minute that you've spent with us. You've answered all of our questions. You've even made us think even more about what we're going to do. And I'm grateful for that. I look forward to hopefully someday meeting you. One of my friends is actually in your town. Her name is Karen Lavin. She's an author.
Yeah.
And have you met her?
No, I haven't, but the name rings a bell with me.
Well, if you ever hear me interview her, she becomes Linda Lavin every time. But she's a very good author. She wrote a book about haunted Cincinnati and another one of Dayton. And in it, she includes parts of Kentucky.
Wow.
So you might want to find her.
Yeah, absolutely.
She is a wealth of knowledge, and her guide that goes with her all the time is her husband, and he'll hold the cameras and do things for her. And so she's very nice. She's very friendly. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
But I would like to thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you so much. And everybody, you can find Mai at secretirelandtoursllc.com.
That's it.
Check that out. I'd say click on all the links on there, and you can see everything that she offers. There's not just haunted tours, so keep that in mind. Yeah. So, and if you want to know which tour we're going on, give me ring me or whatever, and I'll let you know which one it is.
Join us.
Elm tour. Good. September.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the listeners for putting up with me for this length of time.
Well,
I can tell they enjoyed it.
I can tell. Yeah, I can tell that too. Yeah. And a lot of times, because of your accent that you don't even notice you have,
no,
it draws people in, and it makes them feel like they know you that much better.
Yeah.
Your voice. And like I said, I loved every minute of this, but I hope everybody will join me next Monday night at 7 p.m. Central here on the Paranormal Pride. You can find us at the Bill of Rights Network. You can also find the Paranormal Pride on Dark Realm TV on the Roku. So go and download the app. It's $4.99 a month. And then you can also find us on Things Network, Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment, and the Paranormal Pride Facebook and the Paranormal Pride YouTube channels. And if you're lucky enough, you might even catch me on LinkedIn. So you guys have a great, guys, can't forget to tell you this. Join us tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Central with Ron and Carl, and hopefully some lucky guest will be on with us, and we'll entertain you some more with some other things. So every place that I listed that you can see the Paranormal Pride, you can see us on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal, at 5 p.m. Central tomorrow. So thank you guys, and have a great week.
All right.